So, hello everyone and welcome back to the Southern Biker, and you join me along the seafront in Southend. Just a short video today because I wanted to discuss what my plans are regarding my next motorcycle. If you are new to the channel, long story short, I currently ride a CB500F, his name is Toothless, and I've had this for almost 2 years now, and the end of next month I've had my A2 for 2 years. So that means I can do my full A, and if you're not watching from the UK or Europe, long story short, in Europe and the UK, you have to do what's called an A2 license, which is restricted up to 47 horsepower, and then 2 years after that you can then redo the same 2 tests again at the same cost, which is annoying, to get your unrestricted license. So, what am I thinking of getting next? Well, first let's go over what I know I don't want. I don't want an adventure bike. I don't want a 1000cc before anyone says that, because I don't really want to jump that high yet. I've got loads of time to get up to 1000 when I want to. Yeah, don't want an adventure bike. I don't want a cruiser bike. Anything considered sports tourer that's just an adventure bike that can't go off-road, like a Tracer 7 or 9, I'm not really interested in. What else do I want? There's currently nothing in the Suzuki range that I fancy. Any other brand? Nah, that's about it. Suzuki's the only brand that has like literally nothing I'm really interested in. I know there's the GSX-8R, which is going to line up with some of the bikes I want later, but I just think that thing looks kind of ugly. Like, the front isn't terrible, but the rear is horrible, and from what I've heard, the talks are at the bottom of that. So let's go over what I am looking at. Obviously something between 600 and 900cc, that I mean 950, I guess you could really extend that to. I'm looking at either a naked bike, like what I've got now, or a sports bike. But when I say sports bike, I'm leaning more towards, you know, like the new, like, modern soft sports bike, like the CBR650R, rather than like something like a 600RR. So I guess I'll just quickly go through the list of you. So at the top of the list at the moment, quickly to mention as well, I'm not really going to be looking at buying brand new. I don't really have that sort of money. I mean, it's not like completely out of the realm, but I'd rather not if I don't have to. So top of the list at the moment is the Triumph Street Triple, whether that be a 675 or a 765, I don't really care. The only downside I've heard to the 765 is that the dash takes 20 years to turn on, which is annoying. Yeah, I'd say that's probably at the top of my list at the moment, and then I would say, if we're doing this in tiers, just under that would be the CBR 650R and the Daytona 660. And I know there's going to be some people crying that I said 660 and not 675 for the Daytona. I do like those, but one, quite aggressive, and where I like to go long distance, I don't know if that's going to do my back any favours. Two, as my friends will know and love to take the piss out of me, I am terrified of riding anything without ABS, because in my mind all I do is that, and next thing you know the front wheel locks up and I'm dead. So that's a bit scary. I know they do a 675 Daytona with ABS, but then it gets the weird mascara, as I call it, so maybe not. So yeah, second tier, I'm looking at CBR 650R, Daytona 660, and I guess I'm going to lump in with that as well the... do I want to lump the RS6? I'll lump the RS660 and the Tuono 660 in that tier as well. And then sort of, I don't know, I would say below that, I would be looking at, that's a Tuono 660, didn't I? I've lost my train of thought now. Looking at the CB650R, so obviously the naked version of the CBR 650R. And potentially the Ducati 950 Supersport. Only issue with that is they are obviously a bit more on the pricier end because they're a Ducati, but they're like an entry-level Ducati sports bike, and I do quite like the look of them. The newer one's got a better front end or headlight, but that's like 2021 onwards, and that's way out of my budget. Other than that, I have briefly looked at the BMW F900s, the R and the XR, and I know I said I don't really want something like a tall-rounder, as I believe they're called, like the XR, but I've seen them in person out and about, and I do always give them a second look. The only issue with those is that, from what I've heard, they're a bit tame, if for lack of a better word, and this year or last year they've basically remapped the throttle response a bit to make it a bit more exciting. I had to question it. I was like, I swear the light's green, and they just went right behind me, but that's because there's no one behind me. So yeah, those are something I've glimpsed at. And I do really like the BMW dashes, but I don't know if... Oh, I've just also remembered I've completely forgotten to mention up with the Street Triple. I thought there was meant to be something else with the Street Triple on the top here. MT-09. I have looked at those, and if I did get one, I really want the grey and the red one, but they seem to be quite rare. I don't think they made them in that colour for very long, or sold them in that colour that well. But that is definitely up there with the Street Triple as well. I have ridden the Street Triple, but it was A2 restricted, and I'll let you get your head around that one because it's not my bike, so I don't care to explain. What else? Anything else? I do keep occasionally looking at the KTMs, the Dukes and the Adventures, weirdly enough. They're the only adventure bikes that really look interesting to me. But obviously, I'm sure, as most of you are probably aware, about the whole KTM situation a couple of months ago or at the start of this year. I've heard that obviously, you know, they're not going under, but someone mentioned to me that while you can get the bikes easy enough, if you need parts from that's where you're going to struggle. And yeah, I don't really want to risk that, even if I did get a new one. Yeah, off the top of my head, that's pretty much it, I believe. I could be missing some things out. Obviously, there are other bikes I do quite like. I do keep looking at the ZX6RRs, but I'm just worried that that's going to be so aggressive that for anything else other than blasting out to Burnham on the weekend, it's not going to be enjoyable. But then again, let me know if you have experience touring on a sports bike. I know obviously my mate Jamie, who's got the Daytona, went to Scotland, but he says his back's never been the same since. Bless him. Oh, speaking of Jamie, and also I'm going to throw Alex in here. If you are watching, I'm not getting a Grom as my next bike. That could be a second bike. Although I'm sure as they will probably laugh and say that the Grom's going to be quicker than this thing, because I have the slowest bike in the group, and that's the joke. Anyway, moving on. What else is there to say? Obviously, if you have your own suggestions, please do leave down below. So obviously I'm looking at something either sports or naked between 600 and 900 cc. Obviously if that goes to 950, that's fine. Budget, if we're gonna add a budget, I'm gonna say at most 7, but preferably around 6. Yeah, I say if I see something that I really like, it's like I keep umming and ahhing at getting a brand new CBR 650 out, but then it's like $8.5 grand or something. I'm like, I don't really know if I want to chuck that sort of money at something if I don't really have to. So I could just get the older one. They're not really that different other than the dash. But then again, everyone on the bloody planet gets a CBR 650R, so you got to get one that's unique. And I haven't seen too many of the newer ones around. We do like a good ramble, don't we? We do like a good ramble. I'm sure there's probably something that I've forgotten or missed, so I'll throw up a note screen now if there is anything I've forgotten, because I'm sure I'll get through editing this and go, oh yeah, should have mentioned that. But yeah, thanks for watching. This is a short little video. So yeah, hopefully in a couple of months' time, I'll have my A and have a new bike. Ta-ta!